Welcome to this edition of Mayor's Report Pleasanton. I'm your host, Dr. Marshall Kamina. Joining me today is Mayor Carla Brown from the city of Pleasanton.
Yay.
Welcome, Mayor Brown.
Well, thank you so much, Marshall.
I'm sure glad to see you today. You always have such nice information, and I'd like to ask you about your choice of something that you might like to bring up.
Oh, you know, this is my favorite part
Me too.
of our meeting, is where the mayor gets to choose the subject. So today I'm going to talk about civic engagement, and which makes Pleasanton the best possible place it can be. We have actually 10 committee or commissions that serve to advise the City Council on issues that are important to the community. And they act as our outreach to the public, as well as add their own homework and opinions to give the City Council the best information we can to make those policy decisions moving forward. So for example, on Thursday, April 11th, the City Council hosted all the committee and commissioners and their plus ones to a dinner, and we had a chance to highlight all the important work that they have done throughout the year of 2023. There was overhead presentations listing the names, but also all the important work that they have done to bring things forward to our community. And I'd like to list out what these 10 committees are. The first is Bicycle, Pedestrian and Trails Committee, that's one, BPT for short. Civic Arts Commission, the Committee on Energy and the Environment, which is really important for our Climate Action Plan 2.0 implementation. Economic Vitality, we need a thriving business community. Housing Commission, Human Services Commission, which helps us with our grants. Library Commission, Parks and Rec Commission, Planning Commission, and one of my most fun groups, the Youth Commission. And so I also awarded the Mayor's Award to Dr. Kelly Cousins this year. She has over 33 years of community involvement and volunteerism for the art community, both not only in Pleasanton as well as the Tri-Valley. And when I say art, it can be music, it can be actual paintings and drawings, but it can also be cultural expressions.
Yes.
So she has, like I said, 33 years of involvement. And every once in a while I'm asked, what does it take to be considered for the Mayor's Award? And I usually say decades of work for the community.
Yeah.
But she was also, she served for 10 years on Pleasanton Human Services Commission and our Library Commission. So as you look, as well as active in our school district over when her two sons were over at Amador High School. So if you look around the Tri-Valley for things having to do with arts, you will most likely see Dr. Kelly Cousins there.
As you've been saying this, it struck me that when I had the pleasure of the mayor's State of the City, that you were nice enough to acknowledge a number of these people, and I know they were very proud to serve.
Yes, I'm so pleased, yes.
You are going to entertain hiring a new HR director. Is that right? The city of Livermore, I'm so sorry. The city of Pleasanton has had an employee for some time who's been the director of humane resources and labor relations, and her name is Xavier Scoggins. Could you outline some of the duties she might have in this new position?
Oh, and the shoes are big for her to fill, but she's the perfect person for them. You're right, Xavier Scoggins was named interim human resources early in March. It gave us the city staff a chance to see how she would perform as director, and it was an easy decision for the city manager. You know, that's not my decision, but I definitely have known Xavier Scoggins for many, many years, and it was an easy decision to promote her up to the director, and what she does for our community fits well into our One Pleasanton strategic plan. And some of the things that you might imagine she would do are employee recruitment, retention, and proactively addressing workplace safety and updating our onboarding for new employees, as well as the performance management reviews. So additionally, Xavier will be responsible for leading our human resources team that's tasked with a number of duties such as managing city's compensation and benefits, packages as well as coordinating with labor groups.
Really?
And organizational. We're looking to improve our organization to right-size the community, right-size the city staff along with our community. And so, yeah, you remember those days of city labor negotiations. We have actually we have more than three unions within the city of Pleasanton, and that's a big job. And you know, Marshall, I have only heard incredibly good things about the work she's been doing with our city employees. We have had some vacancies. She's working very hard to fill those. So Xavier Scoggins is a perfect fit for our new director.
Or doesn't that make you feel good and proud?
It makes our job at the city so much better when we have terrific employees, yes.
Well, I bet she's looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And I expect that you expect that she's going to do a good job. Can't miss.
She's going to be terrific, yes.
Budget review. As you know, the council has reviewed the city's mid-year budget for the 2023-24 fiscal year. Can you share some of the modifications that met your hand?
Sure. The city's budget is a 2-year budget, so halfway through the 2 years gives us a chance to look at the numbers and evaluate how we're doing. Did we come in above or below our expectations? And it's very, very rare if we make major changes to the budget. So this year, we came in a little above our expectations, which is important. So the overall increase to our general fund revenue was about $12,000. And the overall increase to the general fund's expenditures, so money in, money out, we spent a little over $9,000. So that gives us a delta of about $3,000 to the positive. And then major adjustments were related to utility costs, which are totaling $700,000 due to new water rates. The city buys water also. New water rates, as well as our energy and consumption PG&E rates. So those have both been going up dramatically. I'm sure some of the folks at home have seen that too in their own utility bills. So one other significant adjustment was the public safety programs associated with safety equipment and criminal investigations. As incidents happen, and they do in all cities, we need to make sure we have the budget to really follow through and make sure that these crimes are solved. And if additional equipment's needed or additional testing is needed, we need to make sure the funding is there.
So it's not necessarily the number of personnel, it's the support stuff for them?
Well, yes, for support stuff. And you know, we did just finish a police negotiation,
right.
And it was a difficult one for the city because we needed to retain the best and the brightest of our police officers and pay them compensation that they would get at other communities. So that was important. So the increases were mostly offset by a decrease in professional services. We have approved quite a few housing projects that have not come forward. And as those projects come forward, we're going to need additional services. So for now, we saved a little money, but it'll come back later.
Well, I've always been impressed that, unlike many cities, Pleasanton supports the traffic safety people.
Yeah, that's not what everybody does.
No, that's not what they all do. But
yeah. Well, we also support our crossing guards for our schools.
That's what I was talking about, the crossing guards. Don't you think that's a...
Well, that's about a $1.2 million budget item, and it's not a small amount. Of course, it's critically important that those students get to school.
Yes, safely. Right.
There's not crossing guards at every corner. It's still so important that parents and other drivers in the area slow down, watch for those little students, and make sure they get to school safe.
Well, they bond with these kids.
They do.
And are they an organized group? Do they have organization?
The crossing guards?
Yes.
They're a part of our police department, and they're a contracted job. So we have a firm that we hire, and they bring on these wonderful crossing guards. But we are in discussion. The city council voted, and we are in discussion is some shared cost for the future, not next year, but the year after, shared costs with the school district, as is more common in other districts and communities.
Well, on that note, I'm going to say we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back on this edition of Mayor's Report Pleasanton in just a moment. Welcome back to this edition of Mayor's Report Pleasanton, and we are here talking with Mayor Carla Brown from the City of Pleasanton. Thank you for coming back.
Oh, my pleasure.
Now, the city continues to invest in public safety for its residents and also for its visitors. What is the city looking forward to completing on the Valley Avenue and Northway Road project? When might that be completed?
Great question. Street safety is always important, and usually there's an area of the city that's been targeted for a long period of time. A little data point that you may not know, the City of Pleasanton installs a new street light every 3 years. So not every 6 months, not 5 in once. We do one every 3 years. And this next light is going to be located at Valley and Northway. It's right next to Harvest Park Middle School and around the corner from Walnut Grove Elementary School. So at that location, there's a large number of students come in the morning and then leave in the afternoon. So we've got hundreds of students that cross at that location, and it is considered that it will be much safer with a street light. I had a chat with a number of residents that live in the area, and many vehicles come down with children in tow. They want to come down, they make a U-turn now to drop off at Harvest Park. And I assured them that they will still be able to make a U-turn in that location, and it will improve safety for these students. But it takes a while. So we're going to be installing the concrete over the summer, and then the lights will be installed, let's see, about January next year. So lead time on parts is the problem. So we've got approval, we've got the money, we've got the location, we have the need, and so we just need some time. So about January next year, we should be all installed and that light will be in working order.
Is it a big challenge putting in a new light?
Well, it's certainly not inexpensive. I've heard numbers I don't want to quote today,
Okay.
but it's considerably expensive to install a new light, yes. And a lot of studies go because lights slow down traffic sometimes. So you need to be careful where you put them in. It affects the flow of traffic in the area. You don't want someone to cut through a residential community because of the street light. So keep traffic flowing, but safely.
Amen.
Yeah.
Tell us about the repaving project.
Well, it's significant. Let's start there. So the City of Pleasanton will be doing a 2024 paving management program, which is another way of filling potholes. Yeah.
That's the fancy way.
And more, right? So this is road construction that's going to happen in April and May of this year. So springtime around the corner. Travels may have already noticed some of the impacts for work in the area, and this work will be starting in the spring but not completing until about October. So the warm weather, dry weather is important. Yeah, for paving. So the plan right now is they're going to do, let's try to find this, 1.65 million square feet of pavement. Now last year there was an increase in the cost of asphalt because of large demands for other road projects at the state. So we delayed some projects, and so this year we're going to catch up and get it all done. So these improvements will come. Just be patient. I hope everyone will be patient, and that way we'll have clean, safe, smoother roads for the coming fall and next year.
What you have said just absolutely reminds me. I went back in time as you were speaking and thinking there was a predecessor of yours 3 or 4 mayors back who was talking on this subject and made the point, no, we're not doing it then because we have to have the right time or it gets all gucky.
Yeah, gucky. I won't say gucky, but I'll say the asphalt doesn't cure well in the rain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amen. An interim police chief is the subject of my next question.
Yeah.
Pleasanton City Manager Jerry Botin, recently appointed Newark Police Chief Gina Anderson to serve as the City of Pleasanton's interim police chief, while he works to find a permanent replacement for the departing chief, who of course is Chief David Swing. He's leaving his position, I think, on May the 2nd.
Yes.
Would you update us on this choice and the next steps?
Yes, as you stated, Chief Swing will be leaving our police force, and he's been here since 2020, but he's also retiring with 30 years of service to the public service as a police officer. His last day will be May 2nd, and we're going to do a walk-off for him, which is something that is common for police officers as they end their career with the city. So
is it going to be a surprise?
It's not a surprise. Usually families there to celebrate, and there's cupcakes and other ways where people speak in respect for all the good work that the officer has done in their career. So he's going to be taking a role at an organization called East Bay Regional Communications Systems Authority, and that's a mouthful, so it's commonly referred to as EBRICS.
Oh, I see.
EBRICS. So
names that long usually are nonprofits.
Yeah. That's true. They're nonprofits, but in this case, it is a very important position that he's taking on. EBRICS, in case you don't know, was created to build, own, and operate a state-of-the-art digital P25 compliant communication system for public agencies in 2 counties, both Alameda and Contra Costa County. So big district, big district. So during his career, if I could highlight, Chief David Swing developed a commitment to community and engagement and personnel development. He's been a pioneer in developing new law enforcement technology to meet these complex changes and challenges in communities. For anybody that watches some of these great TV programs where after the fact they solve these crimes based on science, the policing has changed so much over the last 10 to 15 years. So during his career, he has made that commitment, as well as he's been president of the California Police Chiefs Association, the top job of the top jobs.
That's quite an honor.
Yeah, he was successfully, he's influenced legislation impacting California law enforcement agencies throughout the state. And during his time in Pleasanton, he was instrumental in the development of the award-winning Alternative Response Unit. And he also started his CAB, it's his Chiefs Advisory Board, where residents in the region and influencers for things like mental health have met with him regularly to let him know what's going on in the community. Kind of like full circle like the City Council does with our committee commissions. This is the fingers that reach out to the community and bring that data back to the chief. So he's also, this Alternative Response Unit has done a 50% reduction in identified homeless individuals and helped finding them homes, along with other nonprofits in the community like CityServe. And then regarding mental health holds, which is a really critical influence that the police has. And if somebody is deemed danger to themselves, or they have mental health issues that are beyond the skill set of the police officers, they usually submit a mental health hold.
I see.
With these alternative response units and 2 professional clinicians, they've been able to drop the mental health holds by 50%, and for youth under 18 by 70%. That's tremendous. We're connecting individuals in need with the help they need, and that all happened under our Chief Dave Swing.
Well, it sounds to me as though you're going to be very sorry to miss him, but very happy with regard to the work he's going to be continuing.
Yes.
Is it likely that the new interim chief might apply for the position?
Well, that will ultimately be up to that interim chief, but that is not the plan. At this time, we intend to do a full search for a new police chief.
So it wasn't precedent upon taking that position or applying
Correct.
for it?
It'll be her, that is a decision that will be her personal decision, not mine.
Absolutely. What can you tell us about other events or items that you'd like to update us about? You always have such interesting topics.
Well, I would really like to tell you about Chief Anderson, the interim chief, if I could.
Please do.
Would you mind?
Not at all.
So her name is Gina Anderson, and she has been the top cop over at Union City. And that is, oh, sorry, I'm going to start again. So I'd like to tell you about Chief Gina Anderson. She will be serving as the city's interim chief beginning May 3rd, the very next day after Chief Swing does his walk-off. And Chief Anderson recently retired from the city of Newark, where she led the police department since 2020. With more than 3 decades of law enforcement services, Chief Anderson brings deep experience and interim for her post and will lead Pleasanton's police department to continue to deliver first-rate policing to the city of Pleasanton. And she is extremely educated. So Chief Anderson has a bachelor's degree and a Juris Doctorate law degree.
No
and
kidding.
is a graduate from the FBI National Academy and the Senior Management Institute for Police Executives. Now that's a top cop.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Makes me want to think, hope she might apply.
I hope she does.
Well, Mayor, that was great information. Are there any other events that you'd like to update us on?
There's always something fun happening in Pleasanton.
No doubt.
So Pleasanton's next cultural celebration is coming up. Please join us as we celebrate Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Also, we have live performances by author and illustrator Eugenia Yo, a poem reading and activity by our very own teen poet laureate, Ishmet Dillon, and there'll be arts and crafts and Auntie Viv's shaved ice, and so much more. So this free community event will be held at the Firehouse Arts Center on May 11th from 11 a.m. to from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m.
No kidding.
Yep, it'll be a cultural celebration, and we have a community favorite. They'll provide engaging opportunity to embrace the beauty of our culture and diversity. So save the date also for Juneteenth celebration, and that will be on June 15th from 11 to 1, also at the Firehouse Arts Center, and I'll love to tell you more when it gets a little closer.
Aren't you proud of that center?
Wonderful.
Thank you, Mayor, for updating us. And thank you for joining us on this edition of Mayor's Report Pleasanton. Join us for the next episode of Mayor's Report right here on Tri-Valley TV. I'm Dr. Marshall Kamina. Thank you for joining us.